business builders really preach on making sure that your product is high on SEO and making sure the A9 finds that product. And so the flat file for me was a game changer, especially for a new product and also products that I also have to impact immediately. So I saw immediate changes just on working with flat files.
Welcome to the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, a show where we interview high voltage entrepreneurs growing and scaling through e-commerce, real estate, and other wealth without Wall Street ventures, showing you the path to making your first or next million. Hey folks, welcome back to the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast. I have a wonderful guest today that we're going to go over some topics of e-commerce and building businesses, and we may dive into some tactics. We'll certainly talk about strategies, and definitely I want to talk about him and what he's done and his business and his role that he's playing and how he's been evolving in the community that we have. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about a testimony from a gentleman who I've come to respect and just appreciated, and the way he's collaborated with members in our community. So I invited him to come on today and speak to us a little bit about what he's doing, where he's going, and maybe you who are listening to this, who are maybe thinking about e-commerce or Amazon, or maybe you're already doing it and you're wanting to know better ways to make more money, to optimize performance, to increase your rankings, to obviously build a bigger, better business with potential exit in mind, then you're going to want to pay attention today. So Nelson, welcome to the call, my man.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming. So I just got a few questions. First off, I always want to address this, especially with people who wonder whether or not we don't script these. I didn't preset questions and whatnot, and you're not here under any, I'm going to ask the question, are you here under any incentive, coercion, or otherwise here under your own free will? And you weren't coerced to be here under any mechanism?
Absolutely not. I'm here on my free will.
All right, my man. That's appreciated. So first question I wanted to ask you was in relevance to history. I'd love to know, and have people know a little bit more about who you are. So maybe you can tell us, a little bit about who you are and history and family and anything you might be willing to share a little bit about you. And then we can kind of jump into the first question, which really had to do with, what's your first problems? What were your challenges before you joined the Voltage Business Builders, and what were you looking for? So maybe you can kind of dive us into this conversation,
Absolutely. Man. I have a family of two, son and daughter, a great partner. When I really wanted to find something for flexibility, I saw something on YouTube that was related to Amazon, and that got me interested in 2018. So I wanted to build extra income and grow it, sell it, or even pass it along within my family, because I just wanted to have more flexibility. As I got older, I realized that, kids' time grows really quickly, and I wanted to cherish those moments as they get older, especially up to their 18.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And where are you in the world? If you want to give us a top, you're in the United States, but you're traveling right now, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm traveling. I'm away on vacation, but I'm from New York. Very busy area, a lot of things that are happening, a lot of action-packed things, fast-paced, but I'm around a great area, have an opportunity to work downtown as a physical education teacher. So I'm surrounded by great teachers, great leadership all around. So I'm always motivated, always around people that are helping the support the needs. I'm always around great families and great students as well.
Awesome, dude. So what kind of results maybe you can share with us you've been getting so far since you joined up with us, and maybe talk about some of that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. Before I joined Voltage Business Builders, I was really stuck on sales. And in the past, I used courses, Facebook groups, chat groups, and I felt it wasn't really a place for me to interact one-on-one. I always felt that it was a lonely world still. I'm interacting, getting answers, but I wasn't really coached. I really coached just on my own. And so I wanted to be around people that were successful as sellers, new, current, who've been there for a long time. And in the summer when I was in Florida, I'm actually in Florida right now, of last year in August, I was stuck. I was like, how am I going to grow this business? So watched a lot of videos from you, Neil, and just was motivated in just growing even more. So when joining the program, I immediately saw some big differences that I didn't learn before. I learned about how to create an LLC the correct way, but I was also honored to speaking with Daniel before I boarded it and joined Voltage, and just asking questions, and he was able to answer all my questions. And I felt more confident to be around coaches that are willing to answer questions, not just me listening to podcasts, and then getting some, small answers, but like real action, whether it's a live Zoom call or a phone call or a text, I'm able to get that immediate communication. So that communication was real, was organic. And so that's how I joined Voltage. And I just saw immediate success. Yes, the LLC, but the weekly live sessions was very unique. The fact that Reed is able to make presentations yourself, other great coaches as Katie, and I'm able to just listen and be engaged for 2 hours. And these live sessions are up to date. So if there's any changes, I'm able to see or hear or make immediate changes as soon as possible. So that's something I didn't have before. And as an experienced seller, I was able to kind of start over watching, yes, 50 hours of videos and finding products. And Neil, you mentioned not to marry your product, try to steal other girlfriends. So I'm able to kind of reset myself in joining the program and finding products that have a lot of profit.
That's fantastic, man. Well, that's great to hear, and I'm honored to hear that on behalf of the team. But you've also put into work, which is one of the things that, we always look for in balance. I tell people continuously, and it's kind of an old adage phrase, but it's a truism. And you can lead somebody to water, but you can't make them drink. And you're one of the people who definitely was just like guzzling everything you could get your hands on, asking questions and actually doing and taking some risk and actions you hadn't done before and understanding and walking the path. And so we appreciate people like you because you actually got in there. And in the process of doing that and learning and just taking some imperfect action and figuring it out, you discovered a couple of things you really love to geek out on. You want to tell us about some of that a little bit, some of the things you've kind of geeked in and kind of become a little bit of a community subject matter
Yeah,
expert?
absolutely. I think my sessions with Reed as a coach was powerful. I was able to kind of ask questions, start over as a new student and pretend that this is my first time selling, but I think being around Reed really gave me that confidence. And so when I was creating a new product, this new thing, as far as flat files, I was able to kind of say, oh, wait, what is that? And so that's something that a course doesn't teach you about flat files. It tells you to use the user interface, but here business builders really preach on making sure that your product is high on SEO and making sure the A9 finds that product. And so the flat file for me was a game changer, especially for a new product and also products that I also have to impact immediately. So I saw immediate changes just on working with flat files.
Very cool. So you saw some ranking changes and SEO changes in your processes or anything you want to share without, I'm not asking you to give away your product, of course, but can you give us any examples of some things, maybe some students you've helped recently? Because I know you're definitely in the community and helping people, which is amazing because we obviously encourage people to do that. Not everybody does, but you certainly have. Is there, any examples you might want to share with some
Yeah,
people?
absolutely. It does impact indexing for sure. But one thing I didn't really thought it would happen was ranking. It also helps out ranking. So not only putting keywords in there in a flat file and using it and really absorbing it and taking all the information, but a flat file is really for you to put all the information as much as possible. So the search engine can really see what your product is and can help show it more customers. So working with
Yeah.
other Voltage business builder sellers, they saw definitely a difference, such as ranking or badges, or even changing leaf nodes as well, because they have so much information about the product. Now the A9 is going to say, hey, let's just test it out here. Let's test it out there. So not only that I saw for myself with changes each month when I played around it from December of 2022 all the way up to March, where I had like a test, an experiment. I like experiments. I like tests. And so I tried that experiment
Yeah.
and I wanted to share that with others. And yes, since then, people have been telling me that, yes, it's been a difference.
That's fantastic, dude. It's such an interesting thing, and it's what it actually translated to high level language wise too is that this is a giant AI engine, and I know people geek out on AI, and I do a little too, as you've known. And I'm going out and testing, and I've even spoken on some conferences recently about the way we're incorporating AI into our processes and using it as to make things easier to remove some time, energy, and attention barriers in some of these activities that take a little while to do. The engine you mentioned and this SEO and everything, it's a giant AI engine. Do most people, and maybe you missed it too at the beginning, or maybe you caught it and not realize that, AI has been around for a while and Amazon is an AI engine and they kind of missed that in this whole process?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't really have that understanding of how to feed the engine. I always thought, hey, just put it out there, it's going to grow. No, you got to make sure you put every single detail. I think also attributes are very important in a listing where customers can see it or may not read it, but it's not really about the customer all the time. It's really about the A9 recognizing it and then putting it different places. So that's something
Yeah.
to definitely do.
Yeah. What has this done to your life? I mean, you're traveling in Florida. Did you stop working? Are you still making money? Are you still doing business? Like, has it changed your life?
As of right now, I'm really thankful for my career. It's not something I want to stop. I'm very privileged to be around great people, great families, great students all around. And so in the last 2 years, I was able to kind of work 80% where I was able to pick up my kids and be more confident. I'm going back to full time only because I feel like I accomplished a lot the past 2 years, especially the last year. But it's something that I want to continue in growing. In the past couple of years, I did experiments and increase SEO, like Amazon posts for 2 years. But I'm noticing don't do experiments too long, right? Do experiments for 3 months. So you're able to do 4 different experiments, right? Do premium plus, right? Okay. Do that. Do influencers. My focus is really increasing organic traffic as much as possible within the SEO. And I've noticed Flat Files has helped out. Flat Files have also helped out increasing the IDQ score as well. So now that I see that it's a score, now I'm able to kind of say, all right, let me try to score 100 than just an A, whether it's a 92, I want to score 100.
Yeah.
With a flat file and using the user interface, I'm able to do that. And now I feel confident in growing more new products because I know that it's going to do really well with organic traffic, at least to start off.
Right. Confidence level in your success has now gone through the roof. I can hear it in your voice, especially since the first time we talked a while back, right? Because it just wasn't that now, that confidence, that knowledge, and that person I'm talking with today is different than the guy I talked with in the past. So if you were to like, maybe last question here, if you were to tell somebody or, who's listening to this, who's wanting to possibly get started with business builders or get started in e-commerce, what would you tell them? And second part of that question is if somebody's in Amazon and they're maybe struggling or they're wanting to grow, what would you tell that person?
I would basically say sometimes people like to do things next week, next Monday, next month. If you see something that doesn't work and people have been doing the same thing and people are doing the same program and you see that there's no growth as an experienced seller, it is okay to actually go for it. When I was able to speak to you, Neil, the great thing about it is I watched a video and the action was there. I said, I want to do it. I think it was a couple hours later, we spoke and you were able to answer a lot of the questions. So I think that the way that you and Reed work together as a tag team is like the best tag team champions in the world for a long time. And so when you're around that, and then we're around great coaches, you're around resources that are available to you anytime, and you can send a text and then you're going to get a response immediately or within 24 hours. I think that's more powerful than anything just waiting for next Monday, next Tuesday. It's there. Business Builders is something that is growing not each year, but daily, each day. What can we do to get better? What's the feedback we're going to get? Okay, we're going to take that feedback and do it better. It's hard to find anything close to that as of right now.
That's amazing, dude. Well, look, I appreciate you. I'm honored that you took the risk to come in and be a part of our community. And I'm grateful for you and the things you've done to help others and sharing great insights and tactics in the community, as well as you are learning, you are teaching others and others are learning from you. And that is probably the best scenario we could hope for, as we share this and work with other people and try to help them gain levels in their business that they haven't achieved before. So, man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything today. Is there any final words or anything else you'd like to finish up, or a question I didn't ask you that maybe you were interested in sharing?
I guess teamwork and individual work is a powerful weapon. Struggles can become your strengths. And so it's important to continue. Don't just stop. Keep going to the next step. And eventually the answers will be there.
Thanks, man. Well, that's wonderful. I appreciate it. Everybody, like, share, comment, ask some questions. Nelson will be monitoring. We'll be monitoring this. If you have any questions and you've never heard the word flat files or you understand flat files and don't understand their importance, please ask questions. Go on to the YouTube channels or Instagram or anywhere else this is posted and feel free to do that. One of us will jump in and answer those questions for you guys. Like, share, comment, help us beat big tech, help get this message out for anybody who needs to hear it. Thank you so much for sharing with me today, Nelson. I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
If you like this episode, please share it with people you think will enjoy it as well. Thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for a brand new episode of High Voltage Business Builders.